Greeting loves, this is Annette back again with an episode of Chronic Wellness. Last week I talked to you all about IVIg, intravenous immunoglobulin. And I am back this week to share with you the dangers of IVIg. And there really are some serious potential risks. However, and I want to emphasize that for the vast majority of people tolerate IVIg without serious complications or side effects or hazards or dangers of any kind. Really, for most people, the most common symptoms are like maybe a little bit of a fever or a chill, a headache, some fatigue. Truly, that is the vast majority of people. However, for a very small fraction of us, there are some serious complications that can occur infrequently, very infrequently. I want to emphasize that. And those can include, but are not limited to, thromboembolic events like deep vein thrombosis or pulmonary embolisms, dramatic and terrible, acute renal failure, and typically this is for folks with pre-existing conditions that would exacerbate or lend itself to this complication. Hemolytic anemia, this is something I don't know a lot about, but this can occur when the immune system reacts against the infused immunoglobulin. So you're reacting against the Ig that you're getting intravenously. And infections that can occur because of getting the boost of immunity. There can be infections that occur as a result of that immune modulation. And then this final one is one that I do know a lot about, which is aseptic meningitis. Now, meningitis, as some of you know, is thought to be life-threatening. It is life-threatening, particularly when it is infectious or viral meningitis. But aseptic meningitis means meningitis that is caused by a medication. And it is still the very same meningitis. It is just not going to kill you or be contagious. It's just going to be world altering, which is to say the meninges, which are the soft tissues that surround the brain and the spinal cord, become inflamed, and they can do a spinal tap to test your spinal fluids to see if you are in fact experiencing meningitis. And then the symptoms can last from 3 weeks to sort of 3 months. And the reason I speak so confidently about the symptoms of meningitis is that IVIg gives me meningitis. And because the benefits of IVIg were so pronounced in my case in changing my disease processes, it was still worth it for me to keep getting IVIg at regular intervals. And so I got meningitis again and again and again and again, something like 7 to 9 times, which meant that for about 2 years I was just trapped in a devastating hell and now have daily migraines because of the way my meninges were just lit on fire for 2 years. And so I don't mean to downplay that as a side effect. And for some people, this side effect can be mitigated by taking subcutaneous immunoglobulin instead of intravenous immunoglobulin. So this is a difference of delivery, getting it in the fat cells rather than in the veins. And it's a difference of dosage and how quickly the body receives and therefore absorbs the medication. And for some of us, that still doesn't make a difference. So what about you? Have you had difficulty taking IVIg? Has IVIg worked for you? Are you curious about getting IVIg? Have you had complications? These are the things that we want to know. So sound off in the comments below. And as ever, I'm so grateful for this time together. And if you haven't followed me over on Instagram, you'll see it at the top of show notes. My handle is @Annette Leonard. And I do a series of interviews over there, usually every other week. I took some of the summer months off, but I'm starting back up again. And they're evergreen in my reels, but if you join me live, you can ask questions of my guests, make comments, sound off. I'll be talking with a physician on Thursday, September 26th at 1 p.m. Pacific time about the benefits of fasting for all kinds of chronic conditions. So if that sounds of interest to you, please tune in. And until we're together again, I thank you for joining me, and I hope you're finding ways to be well.